Here's an example of a typical joke that Ellen might crack.
All new to you. When were you born? What year?
88.
88?
1988.
88.
Yes.
I have shoes that are like from 88. I still have a couple of vests that I wear from 88.
Now, we could talk about Ellen's style of understated humor and how that's different from someone like Jim Carrey, but what's most important here is to note that Ellen's jokes don't hurt anyone. So often, when the people in our lives crack jokes, the room laughs, but someone there feels crappy. That person is the butt of the joke. For an example of this, check out one of the few times that I saw Ellen actually make a joke at someone's expense.
And I have to say, one of the most amazing Liza Minnelli impersonators I have ever seen in my entire life. Just really, seriously. Good job, sir. I mean, that is really... that's...
You can tell by the grimace that Liza Minnelli doesn't feel particularly good about that joke. Now, luckily, Ellen doesn't crack that type of joke often, but it does serve as a good reminder. Consistently making jokes where there is a loser might make people laugh in the moment, but it's going to alienate someone. And if you do that often enough, you're going to alienate most everyone. And that's good to keep in mind, because that's how a lot of us are, especially with our friends. Let's look at what Ellen does instead. First off, she makes herself the butt of some of her jokes, often comparing herself unfavorably to her guests. This is classic self-deprecating humor, and it's what was going on in that first Rihanna clip.
I have shoes that are like from 88. I still have a couple of vests that I wear from 88.
And the same thing is going on here, where Ellen jokes about how similar she is to Malala. If you don't know who Malala is, she won the Nobel Peace Prize at age 17, making her the youngest recipient ever.
We want them to take action, we want them to do something, and it's important that you highlight it to them.
Yes, exactly. 18 years old. 18 years old. I was very similar to this.
An important side note is that when we're breaking down a joke, the literal words are less important than the subtext, because the subtext is often opposite to what someone is literally saying. That's what makes it a joke. For example, Ellen's words said that she is like Malala, but we all understand the subtext to be that Ellen was nothing like Malala at age 18. We also understand that to be a compliment. She's saying how mature and inspiring Malala is at only 18 years old. Here's another example of a different joke. See if you can identify the subtext here.
That's
like
lovely.
this really good feeling.
And getting a deep breath. That's the most important thing, too.
Especially when you have bronchitis like me right now.
Do you,
I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's have more fun with it. Oh.
There's no words to this joke, but the subtext might be something like, Jennifer is sick and I don't want her to touch me. Now, this joke is technically at Jennifer Lopez's expense. After all, not wanting her to touch you is in the subtext. But this particular joke is harmless. It's not going to alienate anybody because most people are not insecure about being sick. Why? Well, as a rule of thumb, people are unlikely to be insecure about things that are either temporary, common, or not core to their identity. They are likely to be more insecure about things that are permanent, uncommon, or core to their identity. So this joke works and doesn't upset anybody because even though J-Lo is the butt of it, it's not something that J-Lo is likely to get upset about. You can call this type of joke poking fun. So let's check out another joke with the same kind of structure, and again, see if you can identify the subtext.
Stay in school. I'm sure these people went to college. I mean, Amy Adams, you went to college, right? No? Okay, well, who cares?
The subtext of the first bit is that Amy didn't go to college, and again, this falls into the category of poking fun. It's something that she's unlikely to be insecure about because she is a wildly successful actress. Now, this is important. If she had not yet made it and was seriously doubting whether or not she had made the right choice to skip college, this joke might have stung. It might have upset her identity, and in that case, it would have been a bad idea. So context matters. There's also a second joke that Ellen cracks. The subtext of the second one was that Amy is nominated twice for an Oscar. That's actually a subtext that builds her up. Here that one is really quickly.
You're an amazing actress. You're not one, but 2 nominated films tonight you were in. That's just, that is so, what is the word for it? Selfish, I guess.
This is the gold standard of jokes that create instant likability. You can call them ego boosters because when you make people laugh while commenting on how successful, good-looking, kind, or likable they are, they will immediately like you and want to spend more time around you. So, reflecting back on a time that you recently made people laugh, ask yourself, what kinds of jokes were you making? Were they self-deprecating, poking fun, ego boosters, or were you making jokes that had a loser? It's important to know because the first three tend to improve relationships, while jokes that have losers can actually be damaging to those relationships. And if you're stumped, it's possible that your jokes fall into a category of jokes that are just silly. These are jokes that make people laugh simply because they're a surprise to them.